Now at 9, the Miami Community Crisis Center now offers vital services for sex trafficking survivors. Plus, Data Privacy Week shines a spotlight on the critical need to safeguard your online information. And Webb City Council passes new ordinances, including one to crack down on public urination.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A federal court sentences a Joplin man for his role in a kidnapping that resulted in the torture and death of the victim. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Today, the judge sentenced this man, Freddie Tilton, to life in prison plus 30 years. Tilton pleaded guilty in September of 2023 to his role in a kidnapping conspiracy that resulted in torture and death, as well as 2 counts of a felon in possession of firearms. Tilton is among 6 defendants who pleaded guilty and have been sentenced in this case. Last September, in a separate case involving a second victim, Tilton was found guilty at trial of 1 count of conspiracy to commit kidnapping, 1 count of kidnapping, and 1 count of stalking. A Miami nonprofit is now certified to help adult victims of sex trafficking. The Community Crisis Center is one of 4 organizations certified in the state of Oklahoma. KOAM Samantha Walker has more on how the nonprofit is hoping to help better support victims.
It's a huge misconception that it's only happening in urban areas. Exploitation, abuse, assaults, it can happen in any community.
The Community Crisis Center in Miami is now certified by the State Attorney General's office to provide services for survivors of sex trafficking. The organization, which supports survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, and stalking, sought the certification when they noticed a number of who they worked with were also victims of trafficking.
It was important as an agency that we evolve so that we could make sure that those individuals are getting the services that they need and be able just to better serve those in our community that need us.
CCC defines trafficking as the use of force, fraud, or coercion to make someone participate in a commercial sex act or other work they do not want to do. While trafficking can involve abductions in major cities or abroad, Samuel says a lot of trafficking happens in communities, including rural ones like Ottawa County.
By us not acknowledging that it's happening in rural areas, we're doing a real disadvantage to those that are being harmed. We believe that services should be available in every community in every state.
In its 2024 report on human trafficking, officials with the U.S. Justice Department said they aren't able to collect a total number of human trafficking victims in the U.S. What constitutes as trafficking can vary between states, and there isn't any one place where a total number of victims is collected. Victim advocates, including the National Human Trafficking Hotline, say the issue is widely underreported across the country.
Some individuals may not realize that they're in a human trafficking relationship, or individuals in the community may not be able to assess it, and it might be getting presented or documented as something different.
Samuel says the Oklahoma Attorney General's office is working to build a human trafficking database. She says this will allow for better tracking of the number of individuals facing human trafficking and hopefully provide a better response. CCC is providing services such as a shelter and counseling to survivors of trafficking. The nonprofit has not received any additional funding to do so, but hopes the community will continue to support their mission.
We knew there was a need, and we're just believing as we continue to evolve and grow that eventually we'll identify some funding that can better support those services.
Reporting in Miami, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
January is Human Trafficking Prevention Month. If you believe you or someone you know is a victim, you're encouraged to reach out to the National Human Trafficking Hotline. You can learn more on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney joins us now with a first look at weather.
Well, temperatures are dropping down quickly into the low 30s. We're going to continue to drop into the upper 20s, but our wind chill is about 10 degrees cooler than the actual temperatures because we are still seeing some winds gusting, especially out in the northeast, 15 to 20 mile per hour wind gusts. Those are going to continue through the evening and into early tomorrow morning as well, though clouds remain out of here until Tuesday evening. So we're going to have a pretty nice day tomorrow with these temperatures continuing to warm up over the next couple of days. So today we got into the upper upper 40s. Tomorrow, we're going to get into the upper 50s, and then Wednesday, upper 50s and even low 60s in some areas. Now, we have another drop of temperatures on Thursday following a cold front that's moving in, so back down to the lower 50s. But overall, not bad, and we are seeing some rain chances later on this week as well, but I'm on a full forecast coming up.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Well, at tonight's Webb City Council meeting, members green-lighted 2 new ordinances. One aims to prohibit cutting corners to avoid stoplights at intersections, and another focuses on tightening regulations against relieving yourself in public. Now, previously, officers would ticket individuals for indecent exposure or disturbing the peace. And now Webb City has an actual ordinance prohibiting urinating or defecating in public spaces. Well, it's Data Privacy Week, which means raising awareness about the importance of securing your online data. KOAM's Melissa Alexis spoke to an expert from the Better Business Bureau about ways to protect your personal information.
Consumers need to think about is the risk of identity theft.
With the popularity of social media apps like TikTok and Facebook, anyone can be at risk of having their personal information stolen.
We've all gotten very comfortable with sharing a lot on social media, making sure that you're not sharing things that you might, for example, use as a password.
That's why, for Data Privacy Week this year, Better Business Bureau Regional Director Pam Hernandez reminds people that just having a password isn't always enough to keep your accounts safe.
Making sure that your passwords are long and strong and using multi-factor authentication. So that's where you get that 6-digit code, or you have to use some other type of authenticator app as a second step before you log in.
She also says it's important to be careful when banking online, as identity theft can be devastating.
Identity theft can cause any number of issues and headaches and harm to someone. It can be as simple as getting locked out of your social media account and losing photos, to someone stealing your identity and racking up debt in your name.
According to IDstrong.com, Missouri's most common data breaches include credit card information or other personal information theft.
If there's a problem with your bank account or your credit card, call the institution, call the number on the back of your card.
Pitt State University's IT security officer reminds people that phishing can come in the form of a text, email, or even fraudulent phone calls. Just like individuals, companies and businesses can also be at risk. In 2019, Missouri Southern State University experienced a data breach caused by a phishing attack. A link from an email was clicked, allowing an unauthorized party to gain access to personal information. Both students and employees were affected.
If you get an unsolicited text message or email, particularly if it looks like it comes from a financial institution, never click the link or open attachment. If there's a problem with your bank account or your credit card, call the institution, call the number on the back of your card.
Hernandez says if you see a scam, you should say something and report it on the BBB website.
It does come with risk, and you want to just protect yourself.
Reporting in Joplin, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Hernandez says if you are shopping on a new site, check bbb.com to confirm it is a safe site before you enter your credit card information. Well, coming up, could spraying your home with cork really help protect it from a fire? One business says it's not only possible, but easy to do. But first, the Missouri Department of Conservation weighs in on avian flu concerns, what you need to know if you come across a dead bird, and how it can impact wildlife. Bird flu is in the news again in the U.S. with the emergence of a new strain, H5N, found in poultry on a duck farm in Merced County, California. Now, alongside an existing strain, more than 119,000 birds have now been culled in Merced County. With the recent confirmation of avian flu in southwest Missouri, the Missouri Department of Conservation in Joplin has some expert advice on what to do if you happen to come across a dead bird. KOAM's Lonnie Walton has the story.
We are on the lookout now for avian influenza.
Francis Skaliski is the media specialist at the Missouri Department of Conservation in Joplin. He says humans shouldn't really be concerned about bird flu.
Sometimes it will affect humans, but for the most part, its main damage is to birds.
So what should you do if you happen to come across a deceased bird?
If you find something you think may have succumbed to avian influenza, leave it alone. Just call us. We'll take it from there.
He says there are ways to report a dead bird if you see it.
You can go to the Department of Conservation website, enter avian influenza, and there is information there how to report it. Or you can call one of our offices and we can help you out too.
Skaliski says touching it can be a little unsafe.
On rare occasions, it has been passed to humans, and we think that perhaps handling these dead infected birds could have been one way that it's been passed.
And what about our pets?
It can be passed on to domestic fowl, domestic chickens, domestic turkeys.
If you're worried about your food, the Missouri Department of Conservation says you shouldn't, as long as you're cooking your food to 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Skaleski says he's just worried about wildlife.
Dead wild goose, a dead wild duck, a dead hawk, something like that you think may have succumbed to avian influenza, call us.
Reporting in Joplin, Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
The Missouri Department of Conservation also says it's wise to remove bird feeders if you have domestic animals like chickens or ducks. Well, keeping blood pressure in check can have a lasting impact on brain health. Researchers looked at more than 7,000 people who kept their blood pressure around 120 systolic for 3.5 years. Results showed these people had a lower risk of mild cognitive impairment or dementia. People who received intensive blood pressure treatment were also less likely to have cognitive impairment compared to those whose blood pressure target was at a higher level. Lindsay is next with a complete look at your forecast. And later, innovative products made from recycled materials are emerging for fire protection in buildings.
Well, today was a nice sunny day, a little bit cooler, but warmer than yesterday. Now, taking a look outside downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. We've got clear skies. Temperatures are falling down into the upper 20s tonight for the overnight low. Now, yesterday we were a bit cooler because of a cold front that came through on Saturday. We dropped temperatures down to the upper 30s, overnight low down in the teens. Now, we warmed up about 10 degrees warmer than tomorrow, or yesterday, than we have another warm up as we head into the rest of the work week. Now, currently we're going to continue to fall. Those temperatures are dropping down through the 30s and into the upper 20s, though clear skies remain, which is perfect because we have the chance to see 6 planets align this week and then all 8 planets next month. But until then, we're going to be dealing with some pretty nice days. So tomorrow, temperatures getting up to the mid 50s. A little bit breezy there, though, because we are still seeing winds gusting up to 25 miles per hour through Tuesday evening. Now, on top of that, we're also going to see some upper level clouds starting to push in late Tuesday afternoon and into the early evening. Temperatures, again, like I said, going to be pretty warm. Lower level clouds start to push in Wednesday at noon, and then we're going to have a lot of cloudy points in the day after that, with some more rain showers moving in later in the evening. Now, holding off really until after 9 p.m., closer to midnight. We're going to start to see if some of those isolated showers popping up around the area, but heavier rain moving in after 5 a.m. on Thursday. Heavy rain mostly south and in our central counties. However, all of us are going to see some rain chances on Thursday especially, but not long lived. So it continues to blow off to the east. We're going to deal with mostly overcast skies for the rest of the day on Thursday. A few scattered showers here and there, and then we have another round of showers moving in following that low pressure system kind of wrapped around. Now, this is what's driving it. We've got this cutoff low out in the west. That's going to continue to make its way into our area closer to Wednesday and into Thursday. So, like I said, it's still kind of hanging out there, but it will start to rejoin. We already just saw the close-up of all the rain chances in the area, and again, mostly after 9 p.m. on Wednesday, closer to midnight. But the heaviest rain is going to be south of us. That's where that line of storms is going to be, right along the cold front. And then we've got the chance to see rain wrapped around that low-pressure system moving in on Friday. But we've got a nice lull there Thursday afternoon into Friday morning before that next round of rain starts to move in. Not expecting a ton of rain accumulation. Unfortunately, only getting 1/4 of an inch to about an inch of rain in our area. However, just south of I-44, Getting a lot more rain, over an inch of rain out in Bentonville, an inch and a half, Tulsa, inch and a half as well. So still seeing some good chances of rain accumulation, especially Thursday. It's where our heaviest point is going to be. A 90% chance of rain, and then 20% still seeing a few of those isolated showers. Now temperatures drop a little bit on Friday, upper 40s, overnight lows back down to freezing, and then we warm right back up Saturday and Sunday, mid to upper 50s and even reaching 60 degrees.
I know, that's beautiful on Sunday.
It is, I
beautiful.
mean, the next couple of days and this weekend going to be fantastic. I'm going to soak it all up.
And we need to get some rain here eventually,
Definitely.
so we'll take it. All right, thanks, Lindsay. Well, bouts of weekend rain over Los Angeles County triggered fears over mudslides as areas ravaged by the Palisades and Eaton fires exist mainly as piles of debris. Now, if rain weakens the land throughout hilly burn zones, it could cause the weekend soil to give out. As Fox's Ted Linder reports, besides carrying away rocks and sediment, landslides can also spread potentially toxic ash.
While massive blazes across Los Angeles County destroyed thousands of structures, many still standing near the burn zones aren't fully unscathed.
Our school was 0.4 of a mile from the burn zone, and it was still standing, covered in ash, but it was still standing.
Because the Palisades and Eaton fires burned in such urban areas, they charred homes, cars, electronics, and other items containing various chemicals.
Plastics, pesticides, lots of different things that have burned that are potentially toxic.
The lingering ash continues spreading in the wind.
We don't have like a big vacuum cleaner to take all of that out.
It's triggering health scares from a growing number of residents, especially parents whose kids are looking to return to school.
Children often have more hand-to-mouth behavior, and their bodies are rapidly growing in these first few years, and so they can be more sensitive to this type of pollution.
After walking through her children's elementary school near the site of the Palisades fire, Kelly Ferroni was expecting to see it clean.
At first glance, the desks are polished and the rugs are mopped, but I went over to the windows.
She recorded this video of ash under windows inside, as well as remaining debris outside on school grounds. The Los Angeles Unified School District released a statement saying staff worked, quote, diligently to prepare schools for a return to in-person instruction. This included examining ventilation systems, cleaning facilities, and installing air purifiers.
If Canyon reopens at the current site, it is now in the next few weeks, we're not sending our kids back.
Ted Linder, Fox News.
Coming up, new AI from China takes the world by storm. China's AI company DeepSeek claims it's outperforming U.S. tech, sparking concerns over America's lead in the industry. Find out why this could shape the future of global AI. U.S. tech dominance is under threat as China's AI company DeepSeek claims its models outperform Western technologies without relying on expensive chips. Backed by a Chinese hedge fund, DeepSeek says it trained its model for just over $5.5 million, far less than the cost reported by U.S. competitors. The announcement shook the tech industry, hitting stocks like NVIDIA, while DeepSeek's AI app topped ChatGPT on Apple's App Store. Experts warn it's too early to tell how this will impact the global AI market. A product made from recycled waste is now used to protect buildings from fire. Fox's Brian Webb shows us how cork spray works.
This is Green Cork Products, owned by Randy Bailey. The number one goal is to protect your home or business during a fire using cork spray.
The application for cork spray is very simple. It's very similar to paint. It just takes a bigger nozzle, and you prep the building, which makes sure it's free of dirt and other things. And you take the cork spray and you start spraying just like you would identical to paint. It goes on very rapidly.
They use cork to make their green cork spray.
The cork tree mainly grows in Portugal and Spain. Probably 95% of the cork in the world comes out of those countries. And they make wine stoppers. And as a result of the waste from making those wine stoppers, we buy that waste.
The waste is then ground up into cork granules to make cork spray.
Use those different sized particles into different solutions because cork is such a wonderful natural solution. Once it's applied, it's going to last. We have UV inhibitors in it, we have mold inhibitors in it, we have all the ingredients that would enhance the blend.
Bailey says his product is safe and is certified for use in all 50 states.
Smoke is generally what kills people, and with our product there's very little if no smoke that comes off if it is exposed to fire.
Well, coming up, workers in Webb City restore a 135-year-old slate roof, putting a lid on a piece of local history. Find out how they made it possible. Workers in Webb City made history today, or at least restored it. The last remaining slate roof in the city got a facelift. Multiple roofers in the area said the 135-year-old roof was too old to be saved and recommended replacing it with shingles. Now, upon further inspection, roofers determined the slate would last another 50 years with proper restoration, which it has now received. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. We look at legislation requiring body cams for all Arkansas law enforcement. And new home sales are up, but high prices and mortgage rates continue to squeeze the housing market. What the Trump administration is doing to tackle the crisis.
You're watching the 4 States Most Watched News.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. All law enforcement officers in Arkansas could soon be required to wear body cameras. Chris Bryant looks into the bill in the state legislature and the benefits it could provide.
I would hope that if the state mandates it, they would help to finance it for those smaller departments.
House Bill 1219 in the Arkansas General Assembly would require law enforcement agencies and public entities that employ law enforcement officers to provide body-worn cameras. The bill, sponsored by Representative Scott Richardson, would also require the recording of law enforcement interactions with the public.
When I was patrol sergeant, I used them all the time to help the guys to learn to do better. You can critique their traffic stops, you can critique their approaches, you can critique so many things by just watching and giving them productive criticism, productive notes that they can learn from.
In addition, the bill states that an accurate record of the interaction between law enforcement and the public is available for legal and training purposes.
The officers can review them when they get a traffic stop and maybe they have field sobriety or something like that. They have the ability to review their cases, review the whole stop, and make notes that maybe they didn't notice something while they were out there on the scene.
Eureka Springs Police Chief Billy Floyd says his department has had body cameras for several years. Floyd believes anything that helps protect the public and law enforcement is a benefit to everyone and ensures interactions and investigations are complete and thorough.
It helps with supervision. It helps with liability. There's no more he said, she said. Our officers are covered.
While body cameras are not mandatory for law enforcement in every state, nearly a dozen states have made it mandatory. Arkansas would be the only state in our area to do so. Well, the ceasefire in Gaza is holding as it enters its second week. Over the weekend, Hamas released 4 female Israeli soldiers in exchange for about 200 Palestinian prisoners. President Trump has expressed doubts, suggesting resettling Gaza's Palestinians in Jordan and Egypt, a plan both countries immediately rejected. Gazans returned to the northern Gaza for the first time in more than a year, finding their homes destroyed, but many remain determined to rebuild. Meanwhile, the ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon has been extended to February 18th. As President Trump calls for lower interest rates, homebuyers are facing the most daunting market in years. Fox Business correspondent Jerry Willis has more from New York.
Some good news in what has been a moribund housing market. Out today, new home sales were up 3.6% in December, beating expectations. Meanwhile, November home sales were revised higher to 674,000. That's 10,000 higher than originally reported. Prices were higher too, up 2.1% from a year ago. All this as home buyers face the most difficult market in decades. Median existing home prices are at a record high of $407,500, according to new numbers Friday. Now, While mortgage rates are at 6.96%, together those two factors dealing a double whammy to the market, taking sales to their lowest level since 1995. Within his first few days in office, Trump issued an executive order directing heads of federal government departments and agencies to deliver emergency price relief, including lowering the cost of housing. Listen.
To have the President of the United States directing his agencies and departments to look for ways to increase housing production and lower housing costs, it sends a clear message to the state and local governments as well that housing is a priority for this administration.
Trump says interest rates need to come down to support a more robust housing market and believes the Fed should help. In the meantime, he says his moves to cut energy costs by opening up more oil production could ultimately cut inflation and allow the Fed to begin cutting rates again. Another source of high and rising costs in the housing market, regulations. According to Realtor.com, $90,000 of the cost of new construction is regulations. One such reg from the Biden administration, which takes effect later this year, requires home builders to meet published energy codes. But 44 states are not on that code, and meeting it will cost money, as much as $15,000 to $30,000 per house, says Tobin. One unknown, how much Trump's targeting of illegal immigrants will impact the housing construction market, which relies on them for a quarter of their workers. In New York, Jerry Willis, Fox Business.
Well, Lindsay is next with a complete look at your forecast. And later, the world marks International Holocaust Remembrance Day today, commemorating the date the Auschwitz Nazi concentration camp was liberated back in 1945. Holocaust survivors share their stories.
Well, it was a pretty nice day today. A little bit warmer than yesterday, but cooler than what we're going to see tomorrow. Taking a look outside downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. We've got clear skies tonight, and those clear skies are pretty nice because we actually get to see the chance to see some planets in alignment today. Well, actually for the rest of the week. Now, we had a cold front come through on Saturday, dropped our temperatures on Sunday with the highs in the upper 30s. We continue to fall through into the upper teens, and then today we warmed up about 10 degrees warmer than we were yesterday. Now, those clear skies are going to continue. Temperatures will continue to drop, though, into the upper to mid 20s tonight. Now, tomorrow we're warming right back up. 56 for the high, so we're going to be in that mid to upper 50 degree range. Sunny skies again most of the day, but we are still seeing some winds gusting up to 20-25 miles per hour. Those are going to continue until Tuesday evening, and as well, we're also going to see some upper level clouds start to push in pretty late Tuesday. So we spend the whole day being sunny, nice, warm, and then later on Tuesday, those upper level clouds start to push in. Temperatures start to drop down into the lower 30s, so we don't see a cool down too badly tomorrow. And then we're going to see those lower level clouds start to push in ahead of our rain chances that are moving in late Wednesday and into early Thursday. So this is just about noon. We're already in the mid to lower 50s on Wednesday. Clouds starting to push in. And then we're going to see some sprinkles starting to move in after about 9 p.m. until we get into Thursday afternoon. Now, at first, we start with some scattered showers, and then we switch on over to some heavier rain showers moving in. Likely not seeing anything severe or just thunderstorms, but we're definitely going to see some heavier rain moving through. And we can thank a cutoff low right now, still off in the west, but it is going to rejoin with the upper level flow and start to shift. So let's look at that, how it progresses over the next couple of days. We're still in this little ridge, which is why we're having that nice warm up Tuesday and Wednesday into the upper 50s and even low 60s. And then we're going to start to see those clouds push in. We already saw those light showers moving in after 9 p.m. on Wednesday and into the overnight hours on Thursday. Now the heavier rain moves in again early morning to midday on Thursday. That's where we're seeing our window of heavy rain. But the thunderstorms, that line of storms moving just south of us out in Arkansas, Texas, and southern parts of Oklahoma. But as it progresses, we're going to see rain wrap around that low pressure system. Gives us a bit of a lull Thursday evening and into early Friday morning, where we're going to have a break from the rain. And then we have that rain wrapped around the low pressure system, bringing in a few more showers Friday afternoon. Now, not expecting a ton of rainfall accumulation, 1/4 of an inch all the way up to about an inch further south, getting a little bit more rain than the rest of us because that's where that main line of storms is moving through. And then we're right back into warming up Saturday and Sunday. We've got a dip down into the 40s on Friday, but again, 50s, 60s for the next couple of days and as we head into the weekend.
It's going to be a lovely weekend. Can't complain about that at all.
Especially just getting some rain right before it. Overall, I think it's going to be a great week, even including the rain, and a great weekend.
I mean, I just got my gas bill, so mine needed a break.
Me too.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Coming up in sports, McDonald County girls basketball faces Nevada for the second time this season. Plus, 2 local standouts commit to play college football at Missouri Southern. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
National Signing Day for Division I and II college football is less than 2 weeks away on Wednesday, February 5th. That's the initial signing day for incoming freshmen that plan to enroll for the 2025-26 academic year. Well, Missouri Southern football picks up a couple of commitments from some local standouts here in southwest Missouri over the weekend. One of those being Logan Decker. He's a senior at New Heights Christian Academy in Joplin. In his senior season with the Cougars this fall, Decker received third-team All-State honors as a quarterback. According to his Twitter post, Decker plans to play defensive back at Southern, where he was first-team All-Area in 2024. A little bit earlier, Missouri Southern football also picks up a verbal commitment from Webb City High School senior Brody Eggleston. As a senior, Eggleston was named to the Class 5 first-team All-State as a defensive back. He was also a unanimous first-team All-COC West defensive back. And Eggleston helped lead Webb City to 3 consecutive playoff wins and a district championship after going 3-6 in the regular season. Well, meanwhile, McDonald County girls basketball was one of very few high school basketball teams, in our area not to participate in a tournament this weekend. The Mustangs had Saturday and Sunday off after beating Neosho on Friday night. Tonight, McDonald County girls basketball home against Nevada, and the Lady Mustangs win 57-52, the final score. They trailed by double digits at halftime, but Mack County scores 41 points in the second half alone to come away with the victory. Just like that, the Lady Mustangs are 2-0 in conference play. NEO men's basketball is on the road this evening. The Golden Norsemen are 16-2 on the season. Tonight they face Murray State College. In tonight's game at Murray State, the 6th-ranked Golden Norsemen come up short. Final score 72-65. Just like that, NEO has its second conference loss of the season. Golden Norsemen had trimmed the deficit to just 2 points in the final minute of the game, but they've got another tough challenge in a couple of days. Now this evening's game, big one for NEO, because here's a look at the most recent junior college men's basketball top 25. They were released prior to tip-off this morning. NEO holds steady at number 6 in the country. The Golden Norsemen have been ranked, though, as highly as 3. That was back a couple of weeks ago. Coffeyville Community College also up near the top of the polls. Red Ravens are ranked number 12 in the nation today. They're back in action this Wednesday at Independence Community College. That's it for sports. We're back with more news after this.
Today is International Holocaust Remembrance Day, and in the wake of increased anti-Semitism, advocates and remaining survivors are doing what they can to educate the public and honor the millions of Jews and other people who were murdered during World War II. Fox News correspondent Sue Guzman reports.
Painful commemoration ceremonies taking place on a global scale as survivors and others around the world mark International Holocaust Remembrance Day Monday. 80 years since the liberation of Auschwitz back in 1945, the largest Nazi concentration camp.
From the age of 9 until 12, I was in 4 concentration camps, so I always lived in uncertainty and fear.
6 million Jewish people and millions of others across Europe were murdered by the Nazis and their collaborators.
Practically no one left Stutthof alive. Once you were in that camp, one way or another, your life was doomed.
As the number of survivors continues declining, many believe it's important to share their stories to try to prevent history from repeating itself.
As long as God gives me the strength, physical and mental, to continue doing it, I have committed myself to keep on doing it.
Manfred Goldberg was only 13 when a Nazi guard asked him how old he was. Prior to that, he was told to lie, claiming he was 17, a moment that would help save his life.
He decided, apparently, that I was fit for slave labor and pointed me in the direction of those surviving. My little brother, aged 9, did not. So he lost his life. He was murdered.
President Donald Trump has sent a delegation to Poland to observe Monday's commemoration event at Auschwitz. His Secretary of State, meanwhile, releasing a statement saying, in part, quote, "We honor those who survived, thank the liberators, and renew our shared commitment to human freedom and justice." Sue Guzman, Fox News.
Up next, from bowling alleys to remote islands and satanic holiday horrors, what's new in home entertainment this week? A sports comedy, an indie horror thriller, and a Grammy-winning singer are among the new digital and DVD releases available to add to your home library. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin runs down the list of what's new in home entertainment.
The Gutter tops this week's list of what's new in home entertainment. The sports comedy stars Shameik Moore as a down-on-his-luck guy who discovers a talent for bowling and joins a pro tournament to help save the local bowling alley he works at. Susan Sarandon, Darcy Carden, and Paul Reiser also star.
I'm an editor. I work freelance and sometimes I don't have a job.
A struggling video editor's life unravels when she takes on a mysterious, high-paying job cutting snuff films in the indie horror thriller Freelance.
Not just yet, sailor. Not just yet.
Kensuke's Kingdom is a British animated adventure based on the children's novel of the same name. It follows a young boy washed ashore on a remote island where he joins forces with an old Japanese soldier to help save the island from invaders.
Christmas killers strike again.
The Christmas holiday turns deadly for 2 boarding school students and their teacher when they are terrorized by a group of satanic killers in the sacrifice game.
It's very intimate here.
And how many guests are there?
9 total.
Small screen favorites to own. Season 1 of the Hulu series 9 Perfect Strangers, with Nicole Kidman leading a star-studded cast as the director of an upscale wellness resort, which promises to change the participants' lives.
I can't wait to see your face.
For music fans, Grammy-winning singer The Weeknd releases his album Hurry Up tomorrow. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of sibling cubs wrestling at a Fresno, California zoo. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.